I was just explaining why even conservative legal analysts think the federal case against Donald Trump is strong. They can prove intent, unlike with the Hillary Clinton emails investigation. And why Trump's argument that he declassified the documents is irrelevant to the case, as is the Presidential Records Act. And I distinguish this from the Biden documents case, since he appears to have been totally cooperative with the FBI. We'll see what happens with that investigation. But none of that necessarily answers the big picture question, whether prosecutors shouldn't have charged simply because the damage to the country is too great. Joining us now is Gary Abernathy, contributing columnist for the Washington Post, who wrote, quote, "Indicting an ex-president and leading candidate requires more than this." Gary, thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. So, look, I don't think I agree with you, but I am open to it. You argue, in essence, that, quote, "Nowhere do the charges indicate that Trump is suspected of hoarding documents to betray the country in a country where many experts agree that too many documents are classified in the first place. Bringing felony charges against a former president for possessing some is overkill." Now, you would agree, would you not, that you are suggesting a completely different standard for Donald Trump than others, in particular with regard to obstruction of justice?
Yeah, I'm suggesting that prosecutors make those judgments all the time, Dan, and I don't. I agree with a lot of what you said in your commentary about this earlier. In fact, most of it. But prosecutors weigh things all the time. You know, someone I know and respect a lot responded to my column and said they mostly agreed with it, but they wanted to correct one point. Rather than Jack Smith being too political, their point was he's being too legalistic and not political enough when it comes to Donald Trump, but not just Donald Trump, when it comes to charging any president. I thought that was an interesting point. I can't disagree with that. They weighed politics, Dan, back in 2016 on Hillary Clinton. Let's be honest. They weighed the politics of it. James Comey, when they drafted their statement, they originally were going to call her criminally negligent. You recall that?
Yeah.
They revised that, reporting revealed, they revised that to come out and just call her careless. Or I forget exactly that phrase, but she was careless, not because, why? Because the negligent term was a legal term that if they used that would basically mean they had to charge her. So they weigh politics all the time. It's not a matter of no one's above the law or we're a nation of laws and not men. It's a matter of prosecutors always consider these things.
And that's true. Look, and this is why I say I'm open to the argument. I just don't think that in this case it gets there. But here's your argument that I found most problematic. And this is, I'm going to quote from your piece. It says, "Let's be clear. There's no good excuse for Trump holding on to classified documents, especially after the government demanded their return. But it's not in Trump's psyche to do what's logical or easy. We know this. He takes every confrontation as a personal challenge. It's what some people love about him and what has so exhausted the rest of us." Now, the way he doesn't always do what's reasonable or rational is somehow an excuse for his actions or a defense?
No, I wasn't making that as an excuse. I was just pointing out that's how he operates. That's not part of my reasoning about saying that's why the charges shouldn't be brought. I think, we're all going to have different standards. Yours may be different than mine, Dan, about when you cross that line. Yeah. But when I first heard, when the news first broke that they had filed an indictment on Trump, my first thought was, oh my gosh, they have found something like he's tried to sell documents. He's tried to trade them on the foreign market. He's tried to put them on the black. He's done something to enhance, for financial gain with these documents. I thought that's what they've had to have found to bring these charges, because I never really thought they would bring charges anything short of that.
Look, I think it was a very interesting, provocative piece. It got me thinking. It's why we asked you to come on the show, because for me, I feel the same way that you do. I admit it. I say I do apply a higher standard for the president when it comes to charging. People go crazy on me, right? Oh, how could you possibly? And my response is, but, what they say, well, what if it was a random person? I say, no random person is going to start an issue with the Presidential Records Act.
Right.
Anyway, but the point is, to me, the conduct, I thought the indictment was actually worse than I was expecting, meaning we heard reports about nuclear secrets. They were there. We heard reports about an audio tape of plans on Iran. It was there. It was like, whoa. To me, I guess, and that's where we differ, is I came away from the indictment thinking, this is actually a little worse than I expected. Yeah.
Yeah, you know this better than me, and to some degree, but I'm also a reporter who has covered many trials over
Yeah.
the years. And I know from covering trials, what we're hearing so far is strictly a prosecutor's
That's
base,
true.
okay?
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.